All right, two more very quick ones to go. Now let's talk about the crispy zone. Now I'm hungry for a calzone, one of those crispy ones. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on to music stuff. So here is
on the side of the road now.
Do you hear that very clear, that sparkly, crispy kind of texture? This range, in this 5K to 8K range, is where you can really get that color and that extra bit of clarity on your vocals.
And we implode too, with asteroids and aliens every turn.
So if you wanted to warm up your vocal and kind of give it that filtered out feel, you might want to do a cut in this range if you wanted it to be perhaps more Billie Eilish-like. However, if you wanted it to sound, let's say, more like Lainey, then you want to add in some of this crisp high end in this 5K to 8K range.
There's a page I ripped out, all the words she wrote down, they're gone now.
Now, as of this point, I don't think I'm going to add anything on this vocal. One of the reasons is because I actually don't tend to use EQs once we get up in this 5K and upwards range. I will use what are called harmonic exciters if I want to boost up here. I just think they sound better. It's kind of a saturated version of an EQ. So I'm not going to delve into that now because I do have a bonus video towards the end of this module right after these EQ videos where you will be able to get an understanding of when to use harmonic exciters like Revival or Air EQ by Slate Digital, or I like to use the color knob on the plugin Sausage Fattener, and your DAW might even have some really interesting harmonic exciter plugins built into. Even a saturation plugin can give you that effect to add some nice high end, but it's not just a matter of boosting in an EQ. It gives it a bit more of a pleasing tone quality. So that is the reason why I don't tend to boost this range on its typical or standard EQ. So I'm going to once again leave it. But just so you know, again, if you want a more poppy, bright sound, the 5K to 8K range is a great way to get it. Or if you want less of that and you want more of that warm indie folk sound, you might want to do a cut in this range. Now, one more thing I'll mention here is the difference between the in-your-face range between 2K and 5K, which we just talked about, and this range between 5K and 8K, which I already forgot the name of it, the crispy zone, right? So the in-your-face zone is here, the crispy zone is here. Sometimes you may struggle with, because I've often struggled with this, knowing which one of these two ranges do I want to boost. If I go into it and I know that my vocal needs to be brighter, and I want to boost it with an EQ, sometimes it's hard to know if I want to boost it here
There's a one
or
in
here.
my mind. Is that her car?
Because it's pretty subtle. It's not obvious which is going to sound better. So I would say probably more often it will be between 5K and 8K, unless you have a very warm voice naturally where you don't have as much of that harsh tone quality from the jump. For me, I have a lot of those harsh tone qualities in my voice, and so I don't often need to make a boost in the 2K to 5K range. So if I'm in the mix and my vocal feels like it's not quite cutting through, I will generally go to this crisp zone in the 5K to 8K range to make a boost rather than this in-your-face zone. So that's just a little extra tip for you. I would say if you had to pick kind of by default which one is better to focus on, it's probably in the 5K to 8K range rather than the 2K to 5K range on average. But obviously, treat your own song and your vocal as an individual entity that needs to be looked at and worked with from that viewpoint. So that is the end of this video. We got one more to go, and then we'll wrap this puppy up.